Hello and welcome to Shelbourne Park, and more particularly the Oak Suite. We've seen some great celebrations in this suite over the years, and hopefully, we'll give you a reason to celebrate in the coming 2 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, GRI Chairman Frank Nyhan and our new Chief Executive Officer Dervla O'Brien, welcome to the National Greyhound Awards for 2021. Before we start, I'd just like to wish our new CEO the very best of luck in her new position. In previous years, at this point in proceedings, I'd be asking you to take a seat and we'd be getting ready to order some delicious food. Unfortunately, for the second year running, for reasons out of our control, this evening's ceremony is coming to you virtually. I will be your master of ceremonies for the next 2 hours or so, once I don't go too far off script. Last year, I spoke of lockdowns, of racing behind closed doors, and the hope of getting crowds back on track. Thankfully, 12 months on, we can speak of wonderful performances on the track, of being present to witness some of the stars we are going to recognise here this evening, and the prospect of more top-class racing through the remainder of 2022. To everyone watching at home via the online stream, you are most welcome to the 2021 National Greyhound Awards, and we will recognise the brilliant performers that lit up the track in the last 12 months. I'm again deeply honoured to be asked to host this evening's ceremony, and I'd like to wish each and every person with a nominee here this evening the very best of luck. I'd also like to say, much like yourselves at home, that I hope and pray we can do this in person next year. God knows I like a party, and I'm fairly sure most of you at home do too. First, however, without further delay, much has to be done. Normally at this time we'd be calling on the Minister for Agriculture, Food and the Marine, Charlie McConalogue, to address you, but unfortunately he is feeling a little bit under the weather at present. We wish him a speedy recovery. But on the bright side, that gives our chairman, Frank Nyhan, the opportunity to set the tone. I'm going to introduce you now to our chairman, Frank Nyhan.
Our son Rossiath Conairn, Curum Faulty Rove Gudi on Sermonus Brunta Blian Toolsha. Boalam Cogardicus Ian of Dove Shud Galair at Animnaha, Aus Guiam Gach Ra Orv. Tan Kaidan and Sort Shaw Iderna Hanimni, Gor Honor Mure ve Animnaha or Corerbe. We will hear from and about all of our nominees during the course of this evening, but it would be remiss of me at this juncture not to mention one in particular. That's the Special Merit Award winner, Noreen McManus. You will all be aware of the generous contribution of the McManus family to greyhound racing and their sponsorship over the years. What you may not be aware of is that in 2019, when our sponsors nationally were under severe pressure, and indeed some of them were unable to deal with that pressure, word came to us from the McManus family that there was no need to contact them or to call. The McManus sponsorship would continue. Not forgotten. COVID restrictions have meant that 2021 was a difficult trading year for us. Fortunately, and thanks in large measure to our executive and our employees, we were able to race, and indeed we had very good racing, as we will see for the rest of this evening. But unfortunately, for a large part of the year, our patrons could not attend. We are very thankful to Minister McConalogue and the Department of Agriculture for their support during that period. The past year has seen the departure of our Chief Executive, Ger Dollard, and our Deputy Chief Executive, Philip Peake. Individually and collectively, they have seen our industry through a very difficult period in our history, and we wish them well in their future careers. We are fortunate to be joined by Dervla O'Brien, our new Chief Executive, and we look forward to working with her. Our board has also recently had 3 new members nominated, and we welcome Anne Shannon, Richard O'Regan and Alex Grasick. The board and Rossiath Conairn continue to pursue its policy of promoting excellence in racing in tandem with the care and welfare of our greyhounds. Recent developments include the continuing rollout of the traceability scheme, and that will have completed its development stage by the 3rd quarter of this year. We have increased the number and the geographic spread of our care homes. We have increased the number of our temporary foster homes. We have revised and improved the Greyhound injury scheme. We have introduced a dental care scheme. We have also introduced a new and significant kennel improvement grant scheme. We have also employed new welfare officers and have increased our kennel inspections. All of this is paid for with the assistance of the Department of Agriculture, our sponsors, our patrons, and you, our owners. I think we have allowed a view to develop with mainstream media which is not reflective of the actual position and which we must individually and collectively continue to challenge. In that regard, I commend the efforts of the Greyhound Owners and Breeders Federation. They continue to portray a very positive image of greyhound ownership and our industry generally. We need to remember that we are the biggest dog welfare organisation in the state. We have the most inspectors and we carry out the most inspections of kennels. Uniquely, we have a code of conduct which we enforce. And even more uniquely, we know where all of our greyhounds are all of the time. We welcome and encourage engagement from anybody with a genuine interest in dog welfare. We have nothing to fear from that engagement. All we ask is that people approach us with an open mind. Finally, it is necessary and appropriate, given where we are this evening, that I comment on recent developments around Shelbourne Park. Firstly, our board has approved a significant refurbishment of the stadium, which will shortly go to tender with work to commence early in 2023. Secondly, we have, over the past number of years, received proposals from various developers who seek to develop Shelbourne Park and relocate the Greyhound Stadium. You will not be surprised that the board have decided that we should remain in our headquarters. Recently, and without consultation, the Pembroke estate, who hold an interest in part of the stadium, have applied to have the land upon which Shelbourne Park is built rezoned. We don't support that application. I note that a previous holder of my office has used a media interview recently to advise our board to negotiate on the future of this stadium. While I prefer to conduct business in private, circumstances require that my reply is in public. There will be no negotiations around the future of Shelbourne Park. Not now, not ever. The successors entitled to the Earl of Pembroke will not dictate to the greyhound community where they race their greyhounds. As far as this board is concerned, we, our children, our grandchildren, and even our great-grandchildren will race their greyhounds in Shelbourne Park. This runs deep. Gormagov.
Typically strong words from Frank Nyhan. I echo his thoughts. I hope that I can spend the rest of my days here at Shelbourne Park, my second home. Well, we're about to show you some of the highlights from 2021, and it just so happens that many of them happened here at the home of greyhound racing, Shelbourne Park.
It's all about Sing Along Sally out in front. They're going to have to go stop to catch this lady as they come around the final bend. Sing Along Sally all the way victory. What a performance by this bitch. Sing Along Sally the winner from 1. 5 was third. 4, 1 and 5. Sing
The big 3 for second and third, but Knocknabull Sid still is 4.5 in hand and 3. Billy's Diva and Great Name that. Knocknabull Sid clear off the final turn will win the Easter Cup for 2021.
Around the top 2 bends, and this is where Ballymacwild is challenging Pierno. It's Ballymacwild, Pierno, Beach Avenue down the outside. Pierno, Ballymacwild, Beach Avenue from the clouds. What a finish to the big one.
And Stone Park Leo in the stripes leads by a length from Agent Stanley. In third is the Machine Trap 2. Off the final bend, Stone Park Leo is leading them home towards the line and wins the Kirby.
On the final turns they go, it's still too amazing. Alice, she's got them all off the bridle in behind. They're rallying gamely, but it's too amazing. Alice is the champion.
At the third bend it's 1, 2 and 5. The spin is 15.91. Explosive Boy is there to be caught. Trap 2 is going to finish very strongly, but Explosive Boy is holding on. 2 is finishing strongly. The 1 holds on to win.
Susie Sapphire remains clear. Now 4 Scooby Princess is flying. It's Susie Sapphire with 2 Billy Diva and Scooby Princess. But Susie Sapphire will win the Sporting Press. Priceless Jet, he's not stopping as quickly tonight. He's still on by 6-7 lengths. It's Priceless Jet going to race home to Corncucullin's success.
But Good Cody is in front by a couple of lengths from 6 Ella Supremo. Surely no catching this two-dog Good Cody. The chase on for the minor positions. Good Cody is our 2021 champion.
It's the ladies first and second. They're going to win the Derby. It's Susie Sapphire from Sing Along Sally. 5 Jack's Little Thing back in third. But it's all about Susie Sapphire. Sing Along Sally is closing the gap fast. But it's Susie Sapphire has won the Derby unbeaten. Droopy's Gloss, so powerful, leads by 3.5 to the third bend. 4, Serene's trying his best in second, but Droopy's Gloss on her way to SIS Juvenile Derby Glory, a brilliant winner.
The one to catch is one time only. The semi-final winner leads by 4, and he's left everything in his wake. Skywalker Barry is second. You can forget about the rest. It's one time only for Tommy O'Donovan. He wins it in brilliant fashion. But there goes Ballymacmerlin. He's found a gap on the inside of the third bend, and he's taken over Ballymacmerlin from Dearjet Sydney. Priceless Jet's back in third. Ballymacmerlin, Dearjet Sydney coming back for more on the far side, but Ballymacmerlin has given Liam Downing his second ledger.
Yes, wonderful memories of 2021. What a racing year it was. But so we move on to the first award of the evening, and it's one of the most important. The welfare of greyhounds and their rehoming after their racing days are over has always been of huge importance, but never more so than in recent times. We have had some truly deserving winners of the Welfare Award since it was first introduced, and this year's recipient or recipients are no exception. This year's winner is an organisation rather than an individual, but as you're about to see, it's the individuals that make the difference. Ladies and gentlemen, the Welfare Award winner for 2021 is Greyhound Pets of America. Let's hear from Joanne Murray, the Welfare Officer for Greyhound Racing Ireland, as she talks us through the great work they do.
Greyhound Pets of America rehome retired greyhounds in the US, they promote greyhounds as pets, and they inform the public of greyhounds available for adoption. They were instrumental in setting up the GPA Irish Greyhounds to the US Rehoming Initiative, which rehomes IRGT greyhounds in the US. So they actively looked for members to rehome some of the retired greyhounds in the US, and at the moment we have over 20 members rehoming retired greyhounds. So the partnership was set up really in October 2019, and then unfortunately it was temporarily suspended in March 2020 due to COVID restrictions. During that period, we rehomed over 43 greyhounds in the US. The programme recommenced in October 2021, and since then, over 270 Irish Retired Greyhound Trust greyhounds have been rehomed in the US. Working with Greyhound Pets of America, they are a wonderful organisation. They are very enthusiastic, they love the Irish Retired Greyhounds, and all of the members and the volunteers and the fosters are always raving about how great the greyhounds do settle into their new homes. They are also a very flexible group, so due to flight issues, different schedules, sometimes the flights have to be delayed, things that crop up on the day, but they're always very accommodating and flexible to any schedule changes. They're also very willing to help with the paperwork that's involved with the American transports, and anything they can do to help, they're always willing. A lot of people have greyhounds already over in the US, so they like to find company for their dogs. They find that some of our greyhounds they're very good with smaller dogs and with children they've raised from family-run kennels, which the Americans love. So they treat them very well over in the US as well, and we receive some lovely photos of the dogs even arriving in the airport, meeting the volunteers, meeting the fosters, and of course then in their forever homes. So it's a lovely arrangement we have with them, and they're very good to work with. They have found some wonderful homes for the greyhounds. They're very, very fun to work with. They're a lovely organisation, and we are very fortunate and very grateful for all the help they have done for us over the last few months for rehoming our retired greyhounds. Raciette, Conairn and the Irish Retired Greyhound Trust are very fortunate and very grateful to be working with Greyhound Pets of America, and they are very worthy recipients of this award.
Yeah, there were some truly heartwarming scenes there in that little piece. You can see the love and the care that the dogs are given. Their work is of the utmost importance, and with all of us involved in the sport, believe that the dog deserves to get the best possible chance of a long and healthy life. There is a couch out there for every greyhound, and that is something that Greyhound Pets of America are more than aware of. Their work, the work of their members, should be applauded, and we really do look forward to continue working with them in the coming years. And I'm glad to say that we are joined by two of the mainstays, two of the main men behind Greyhound Pets of America. We are going to talk to Steve Schifferl, President of the GPA, and John Parker, who is the coordinator of the GPA, Irish Greyhounds of America program. Gentlemen, you're very welcome indeed. You're looking very official there with your logo in the background. Gentlemen, you're very welcome to the Greyhound Awards. Firstly, I'd like to say congratulations. I can't quite see the screen. That's John on my left and Steve on the right. John, stick up your hand. I'm going to start with John. John, you were the person to work directly with Joanne, who we saw in the piece, and Barry Coleman. How did it come about that you started taking dogs from Ireland?
Well, back in about, I think it was 2019, Steve's predecessor, Roy Goray, who was then president of GPA, and I had a conversation with Barry Coleman and Jared Dollard about our ability to take greyhounds, as our American tracks, unfortunately, were closing. We had more applications than we had dogs, and so I don't think they believed us when we said we could take about 3,000 dogs in 1 year. But they took us in good faith, and we started out that way. And
of course, it's a logistical. I was going to say nightmare. It's not a logistical nightmare, but there's an awful lot of logistics involved. I know you have 20 chapters across the US, including Canada. You also have the likes of Ottawa, Ontario up there. But I'm talking about Minnesota, Massachusetts, Philly, Georgia, Washington, Maryland, Texas, Kentucky, Connecticut. You know, there's an awful lot of work involved in that.
It sure is. It is. I would say more of a challenge than a nightmare, but it's definitely a challenge, both the transportation and the regulatory aspects with dealing with the American government. But we're able to get it done. Joanne and Barry, our Irish compatriots, are true professionals, and they are always smart on with help with us.
Steve, I'm going to turn to you now. You are the president of the GPA. You must have the most wonderful team of people working with you to do all this wonderful work.
I have amazing people behind me. I can't name them all, but I'm so lucky and blessed to have them all on my team.
And 20 chapters across the US. As John said, it's a big, big task.
Yes, it is. And again, John has done a phenomenal job with the Irish program. He's just has to be commended.
And of course, we have to mention that piece we saw there was from Boston. And Boston has been a safe haven for the Irish for quite some time, a couple of 100 years. It's a place I have yet to visit. Any chance of an invitation?
Anytime that you want to come to America, as long as I get to come to Ireland.
Yeah, gentlemen, I have to ask you a question. Will you get to Shelburne Park some night? Perhaps we'll see a derby time or something like that?
I hope so. I hope to bring my camera out there and take some photos for you guys.
What about yourself, John? Have you been over?
Absolutely. I've been to Ireland once before for the national horsing meeting and loved it. Loved the Irish Greyhound people, so I definitely want to get back, see some racing this time.
I see Steve has a visitor there. That's one of your own canine friends, Steve.
Yes, he is. He's Aymar Castino.
I like it. Gentlemen, listen, we've kept you for long enough. We would like to, though, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for all your great work, and we look forward to continuing to work with you in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, say a big thank you to everybody involved with the Greyhound Pets of America, both on this side of the water and, of course, on the other side of the Atlantic. They do wonderful work, and we really do look forward to hearing from them again in the future, and hopefully they'll be taking plenty of Irish Greyhounds and bringing them to their forever home on the couch. You never know. I might just retire to the States in a few years' time. I wonder if could they adopt me or get me adopted maybe to Florida. Be nice and sunny. Anyway, first now, folks, we move on to the first canine award of the evening, and it is for Brood Bitch of the Year. It's no exaggeration to suggest that Irish breeding is the envy of world greyhound racing. As a nation, we have been producing canine superstars for almost 100 years. And Our breeding lines are some of the best and most sought after on the planet. And of course, the cornerstone of our breeding industry is the quality of our brood bitches. And this year, we have 3 very worthy nominees for Brood Bitch of the Year. Our first nominee is JT Sahara, who has been an outstanding brood for some time. The daughter of Cabra Cool and Express Dancer was a useful racer, but as a brood, she's a real star. Her star performer in 2021 was Billy's Diva from her talented litter by Derby champion Good News. The brilliant fawn competed against and beat the very best in training throughout the year. The highlight was her raid on Perry Bar as she captured the English Oaks, becoming the first bitch to do so, first Irish trained bitch, should I say, to do so since 2005. She also won the Shelley Fennelly down at Greyhound Park, while also finishing 3rd when joint favourite in the Easter Cup. She was a finalist in the Shelburne 600 and finished 3rd in the Sporting Press Oaks Decider when clear favourite. Good Diva by Bell's Direction was another big winner for JT Sahara. She captured the Brownstown Tango and Newbridge track supporters open on race down at Newbridge, seeing off her sister Ballyhimmick and Pip in the process. Both went on to race in top company throughout the year. Another star for JT Sahara was Freedom Epic, who captured the Tipperary Cup. Other top-class races for JT Sahara included Epic News, who won a number of top-class races around Shelburne in the second half of the year. Next up, we have Jetstream Lynx, who was a top-class bitch on both sides of the Irish Sea during her racing career. The daughter of 010 and Alan Harbour made an incredible start to her career as a brood due to the exploits of Susie Sapphire, who was the standout star in her first litter. From her November 19 litter by Droopy's Jet, Susie Sapphire had an incredible year, winning both the Puppy Oaks and the Oaks before going on to capture Derby Glory, becoming the first female winner this century. Others from the litter displayed promise, including Alan Butterfly, who picked up an injury early in her career, and Gaytime Tilly, who posted 28.59 around Tralee in just her 3rd start. Moving on, our third nominee, last but certainly not least, is Whiting's Gift. As with Jetstream Lynx, she made quite an impact with her first litter. The daughter of Sklarmy Daddy and Mount Taylor Queen was a top racer across the water, but her career also ended a little bit early. She was responsible for 2 of the most exciting young trackers in training at the back end of 2021. Scooby Princess, and Scooby Prince, should I say, and Scooby Duchess were part of that first litter by Droopy Sydney, and both claimed big race successes. Scooby Prince had just a couple of starts under his belt when he was entered in the National Puppy Stake, and he improved throughout to land the spoils in the final. Scooby Princess, or Scooby Duchess, has quickly established herself as one of Ireland's fastest females, reaching the final of the Munster Oaks and then going on to win the Puppy Oaks at Shelburne in early November. Whiting's Clarkey was another from the litter that seemed destined to go on to great things, but sadly, the Casco race at Thurles was his last start before he was retired to the sofa. There's no doubt they are 3 smashing brood bitches, but there can only be one winner, and I'd now ask our chairman, Frank Nyhan, to unveil the winner.
The Brood Bitch of the Year is Jetstream Lynx.
Yes, indeed, Jetstream Lynx made an incredible start to her career as a brood bitch. As the dam of Susie Sapphire, she achieved more in one litter than most produce in their entire career as a brood. Given the fact that she's already won an Oaks and a Derby as a dam, one wonders where she goes from here. Well, it just so happens we can ask the man responsible for her. We're going to go to Zoom now, where I believe Peter Comerford is sitting and waiting. Peter, you're very welcome to the programme. Congratulations, Jetstream Lynx. Of course, she started her days as Alan Lynx. She was a top-class racer, but she's certainly, well, starting to look like she's going to be an even better brood. I think you're on mute there, Peter. You might want to just there you are.
Yeah, we have it now. My first Zoom call. Forgive me.
Thankfully, Susie Sapphire makes a better start than you do.
Oh yeah, very much so, very much so. I've held Peter beside me, so I'm not too bad. No, we're delayed. I'm absolutely thrilled that she got the award, because it's great for her to start off as a brood as well. You know, we're moving on to our next litters and that. You know, so it's great. Absolutely thrilled to get her.
Of course, her second litter by Droopy's Buick have already shown promise. Postman Cat looks a very promising young tracker.
Yes, we're delayed with him, but hopefully he can get more consistent out of the boxes like Susie. So he started off every bit as well as Susie, so we're hoping that way, you know.
And going forward, I'm sure you'll like to hold on to a fair few of them, but I'm sure there's plenty of demand for those pups.
Oh, very much so, very much so. We a few friends and that bought a few that, and we have 4 of our last litter here. They're 5.5 months old by Droopy's Sydney. So we 4 out in the field there, so we're hopeful.
Yeah, you could have 4 potential champions out in the field, is what you meant to say. Peter, again, it's an unbelievable start to her career. You did sell her across the pond, but the view was she'd always come back to you.
Well, I sold her to Mick Freshwater, and the deal was that she would come back, and Julie Mick sent her back when she finished the career, and Mick has a pup by Sydney out of her. She's one of the bitches he has, so hopefully it'll be good for him as well.
He could be due a good turn. He might have a little Derby champion himself.
Yeah, well, hopefully, yeah. I'd be delighted if it did happen that way.
Well, Peter, all we can say is the best of luck. Congratulations with Jetstream Links. Who knows, we might be talking to you again later in the evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on because the natural progression after Brood Bitch of the Year is to Stud Dog of the Year. And we have 3 very worthy candidates. First up, and a nominee, or the winner, should I say, for the last 2 years, Droopy's Jet. This son of Slip the Lark and Droopy's Mo has been a superb servant for the Dunphy Kennels in Portlaw for a number of years and had another superb year. The highlight was, of course, the exploits of Susie Sapphire, who won the Puppy Oaks and Derby, but he had further classic success with his son, Price's Jet, capturing the Corn Cuchulainn. Other big winners for Droopy's Jet included Skywalker Barry in the Select Stakes and the valuable Clona Blaze at Stud Open 525 and Deadly Destroyer in the Champion Open 550, while so many of his sons and daughters competed at the very highest level throughout the year to ensure his standing as one of the very best stud dogs on offer. Next up, we have Droopy's Sydney. While his own racing career was restricted to just one race, his influence as a sire cannot be questioned. He had an incredible year, with so many of his progeny competing and winning in the biggest competitions. His leading competitors were Knocknabull Sid and One Time Only. Knocknabull Sid, a brilliant winner of the Easter Cup in the opening half of the year, while One Time Only ran out a tremendous winner of the Laurels. Other big race winners for Droopy Sydney included the valuable Resets Open Unraced winner Toolmaker Zipper, while Jack's Little Thing won both the Rural Hawaii at Stud Unraced at Clonmel and the Champion Plate at Shelburne before going on to finish 3rd in the Derby. All evidence would suggest Droopy Sydney will have a massive 2022 as he ended 2021 in fine style, happening to send out the first 4 home in the National Puppy Stake, including the winner Scooby Prince and the runner-up, the hugely exciting Crafty Kokoro. Next up, we have Law Hill Blake, making it a clean sweep of the nominees for the Droopy's team down in Portlaw. The 2014 Derby winner, who is a son of Brett Lee and Law Hill Lass, was a nominee in each of the last 2 years and has made a huge impact in his stud career. He had a number of big race winners, including Lee Strand champ, Jamulton Pilot and Clona Sky, who had an incredible year, winning the Munster Oaks, the Cork Oaks and Christmas Oaks. Skywalker Silla won the Champion Bitch Stake and also the Consolation Derby, while Beach Avenue had another remarkable year, winning the Curraheen Park Open 575, running up the Easter Cup and finishing a desperately close 3rd in an epic Shelburne 600 decider. Incidentally, another son of Law Hill Blake, Pierno, was beaten just a short head in that same classic decider. Other standout performers for Law Hill Blake included Southern Sprint winner Dusty's Bandit, Kirby Memorial 3rd Agent Stanley and Ledger finalist Part Blake. It's a truly superb list of nominees, but again, there can only be one winner, so it's left to Frank Nyhan to unveil the winner.
The Stud Dog of the Year is Droopy's Sydney.
A big congratulations to all involved in Droopy Sydney. What he has achieved in the last year is truly remarkable. He had so many young greyhounds on the ground that it's pretty likely he's going to have a huge 2022 also. They really are the pick of the pups at present, those Droopy's Sydney. So congratulations once again to all involved. Well now folks, we are going to take a short little break, but stay with us because during the break we're going to show you a wonderful story as the Collins family picked up a retired racer. Let's join them on their journey.
wanted to get a dog, and I suppose being born and reared into greyhounds were obviously always going to be my first choice. They're a fabulous pet, and we just started the process and decided we'd get a retired greyhound. So I contacted Joanne and the ARGT. They basically advised me what I was to do regarding just preparing my own place, I suppose. The main thing is just to make the garden secure so that you have a bit of comfort in leaving the dog out and that the dog won't be spooked initially when you get there, but not really. Like it was just secure the garden really, and make it comfortable. Then we just basically come down to Finola and collect the dog or see what we had.
All adopters will have to fill out an adoption application, so this gives us a better idea of what kind of greyhound would suit their home. And we will also require a home check. So at the moment there will be no home checks, it's all virtual, so we ask adopters to send us in a photo or a video of their home and garden. So once all that is approved, we will put them in touch with the care centre or one of our foster care centres where they can come and meet a few greyhounds that have been selected for them. So each greyhound will have a profile, and we will do our best to match every greyhound to the right family. So each greyhound has their own personality. So the greyhounds will meet the family, see if they get on well together, and see if they're a good match. Gain have always been very, very good for the IRGT. So they have sponsored adoption packs. So each family that adopts a greyhound will receive an adoption pack. So they will contain a voucher, a greyhound jacket, an IRGT high-vis, a snood, and other merchandise for IRGT.
That's gone really well. She's settled in really well. I suppose I kind of had an idea what it was going to be like, but I suppose I didn't expect it to be as easy as it was. In fairness, she's settled in really well. The kids love her, and she's brilliant, brilliant pet. The first week we kind of thought, this was very shy, but within about 2 hours she had settled in. She's the boss of the house now, and you know what? She's kind of ruling the roost. We said it all along, greyhounds, they make brilliant, brilliant pets. She's just, she's really clean, she's, really good to handle. I suppose, look, she's used to being handled by people, but she's brilliant with the kids, and it's been fantastic so far. I suppose, like with any pet, I suppose, just understanding, if your facilities that, have everything ready when they come, that, that the dog won't escape. Now, greyhounds are very good in general, but I suppose, like any dog, they're inquisitive. And just, I suppose, a bit on diet. Again, greyhounds are very easy to feed, but, they eat anything. But, again, a bit of studying on that, and, just be a bit prepared. But other than that, very, very easy. She gets 2 walks a day now, all right, but she loves going out for her walk. But, they're lazy, they love to relax. They're dogs that they love human interaction, but they also love their own time, downtime. And we give her a couple of walks a day, but it's not necessary. If it was a really bad day, she might only get out for 20 minutes. And she's really lazy and just, relaxes. Anyone that wants to get a pet, I would strongly advise a greyhound is your only option. They're clean, they're really, really gentle with people, and they're so easy to handle. The only thing, all right, you lose ownership of your couch. She loves the couch, and you kind of have to ask the dog if you can sit down now. So it's just the one thing, but she loves the couch, and she's settled in brilliantly.
This sport of ours is thrilling, edge of the seat, a rush from the second the traps open. It's always been that way, part of what makes us what we are. Greyhound Racing Ireland, because this runs deep. Visit grireland.ie.
Yes, indeed. A wonderful piece there with the Collins family. I said earlier on I wouldn't mind being adopted into a family in Florida. I can tell you what, looking at the Collins setup down there, Wouldn't mind being adopted by them either. It really did look fantastic. And Blue, well, her coat was shining. I think you could see the reflections of the kids in the Greyhound's coat. Really tremendous pictures there. Well, folks, we've reached a very important part of the evening. It's time for the Hall of Fame. There's a situation where each year we recognise people that have had a long and lasting effect on the greyhound industry. And, well, the next man we are going to recognise, well, is been around for a long, long time indeed. He's familiar to many of us in greyhound racing. But before I announce the winner, let's take a look at the man himself. I forgot there was a...
Western since I was able to walk, we're at Greyhounds. She been in Kilkenny twice a week, like Wednesday and Friday, like, and told us of a Saturday, Tuesday and Saturday, like most. That was a great social outlet at that time, you know. Half the country around here had dogs starting off, like, you know. Every second place had greyhounds one time. My longest memory of going racing now is a dog called Spanish Battleship. And Kilkenny at that time used to have the McCalmont Cup. And that was one of the big trophies in the game at the time. But the last night he ran in the McCalmont Cup, there were so many people there that let him into the centre of the track. There wasn't room outside. That had to let a lot of them into the centre of the track. That'll tell you the crowds were going at that time now. But I was only very young at that time, but I'd never forget that. So my father, he used to have dogs with the great Tom Lynch, and he trained Lemon Flash to win the McAlinden Gold Trophy. That was a big trophy at that time. The trophy is still over there. It's a gold trophy, the McAlinden Gold Cup. It was one of the biggest trophies at the time. So my father died when I was only 17, like, and so we always had a dog after that, like. We gradually got into more and more of them, like, you know. And we keep all the bitches, yeah, any good we keep them, breed of them. That's mostly what we do, like, you know, when you run an odd one. She couldn't manage without help, like, you know, you couldn't manage. So Tom is here full time, like, and so we had our Colin, our grandnephew from a grandchild for me, but he's gone off to the guards now. Sure, he'll start off after 6 in the morning, like. Stay going until it gets dark then in the evening. I'll be 82 in a couple of weeks' time. I wish if I wasn't here, I don't know what I'd do, like, you know. I wouldn't be able to sit down at home all day doing nothing. That's the problem, I wouldn't be able to sit down at all. I suppose it was Thomas the Tank winning the Derby. It was the first time, you know, it was a new one. Never had a coursing dog before. And then he was a different dog than any dog we ever had, like, you know. If you were here knowing what he'd be doing, he'd be jumping up on top of you, you know. Anyone that come near the place, he'd have to run and jump up on top of him. He was an outstanding dog. Yeah, we only go to Kilkenny now, but the way it's been for the last 2 years, it's stopped up everywhere, like, you know. We only go to Kilkenny now, sure. Before we used to go for stakes all over the country, like, but there have been none of them for the last 2 years. So it's nearly all graded racing now. We went up to Newry, up to Drumbo Park. We went to there a few times. And coming home one night, there was a fella, it was during troubled times, there was a fella on the road stopped us with a gun. I'll tell you another end of the story. The first night we went up with this dog, he was a very good dog. A crowd of lads from here came up with us, like, you know. And they backed the dog for long ons. But he won that night and he won the next night, but the lad that backed him but never turned up after.
Yes, indeed. There's an old and very famous expression, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. In the case of Dinny Lennon, when life gave him lemons, he often turned them into top-class racing greyhounds capable of competing at the very highest level. Because when it comes to greyhound racing and lemons, well, there is only one name you think of, that of Dennis Lennon. I promise you, that's the only time I will refer to him by his given name, because since his first memories, he's only been referred to as Dinny. As Dinny stated in our longer than planned phone call, I've been involved since I first opened my eyes. Given the fact that Dinny celebrated his 80th birthday a couple of years ago, it's safe to say he's been involved in greyhounds longer than most. He has seen it all, been steeped in the sport throughout his life, and has bred more champions than any. As for where the Lemon prefix came from, it came from his father, but the origins remain a mystery. I suppose Lennon and Lemon maybe. It's been around as long as I can remember. The first dog we ever had was Lemon Flash. He won the Macalinden Gold Cup in 1946. They sold him for £3,000. It was an incredible amount of money. Not long after, a neighbour of ours bought a good-sized farm up the road for £1,500. It just goes to show what a big amount of money it was. Dinny doesn't remember the actual dog. He was just 6 years of age at the time, but it just goes to highlight how long the prefix is around. That very trophy, as you saw in the video piece, remains in his possession. Three Castles has been the home of Dinny since the very start. One of 8 children, he was the only son. Said Dinny, I was the second oldest and my father died when I was 17. A few of my sisters went into dogs. One of them married Paddy Murphy. They were into the Merlins line. They had the top dogs in the country at one time. Some of them are still involved down in Cork, in Ballyhooly. They have dogs with Tom O'Neill. And when I asked him if he had bred Ballyhooly Henry, he was quick to respond. Sure, they'd only have a dog if it came out of here. Clearly his sisters believe in Dinny's ability to produce a good one. And you know what? They could be right. After all, he's now a Hall of Famer. His breeding operation began over 40 years ago. His first steps into breeding began when he bought a brood bitch from Puddin Nolan from Wexford, and a good breeding line it was. It's that far back, Dinny can't even remember the name of the bitch, but that first bitch sent him on a path that saw him breed, rear, and race some of the fastest greyhounds in Irish greyhound racing history. While his father passed when Dinny was young, he had already passed on his passion for the dogs. The rest, as they say, is history. While his father passed, but it was Dinny's success, but what was Dinny's success down to? His attitude to rearing greyhounds is simple. He says, they say feeding is the breeding. They eat well and we rear them wild around here. We give them all the space they need and want. I remember the first coursing dog we ever had. He came down from Tipperary. It was Kathleen and Aileen that bought him. He was reared out of a field. You'd be coming back from the track at around 11 o'clock, and it might be raining or snowing or whatever, and he'd be lying out in it. He went on to win the Derby. That dog, of course, as you heard Dinny refer to, was Thomas the Tank. As Dinny said, some dogs are just like that. He never went indoors until we started training him. Whatever way he rears them, it clearly works. Whether it's the dogs he has reared and raced himself, or the ones that have been sold on as saplings, they always perform to the best of their ability. And there have been many stars that have emerged from his Three Castles base. When asked about the best, it's understandable that he can't recall them all, but the names of Lemon Trooper and Lemon Sash came straight to his mind, as did Scolari Me Daddy. The last named was one of the great stories of recent years. As Dinny said, I was training him for the women. The women he was referring to were the Glamour Paws, a syndicate that consisted of his daughters Aileen and Kathleen and 6 of their friends. He was amongst the very best dogs in training in 2009 and early 2010, and was one of the favourites for Derby glory, only to find bad traffic in the quarter-finals. Said Dinny giggling, the women turned down 90,000 for him, and I'm not sure they had 90 quid between them. Scolari Me Daddy went on to be a top-class sire, throwing many brilliant performers. His legacy continues as a dam sire, with the likes of English Derby winner Dearjet Sidney out of a daughter of Scolari Me Daddy. When I went through a list of the many wonderful broods, he stopped me to say, Lemon Miss was the first real good brood bitch I had. A lot of the line goes back to her. We freshen up the breed when we can, but she is in most of our lines. Other wonderful broods like Lemon Bell, Lemon Bolt, Lemon Python, Lemon Lucy, Lemon Abbey, Lemon Ariana, Lemon Blossom come to mind. But there were many, many more. Each produced top-class greyhounds. Some have gone on to be world beaters. We've mentioned Scolari Me Daddy, but he's also bred other greyhounds that went on to be successful sires. Amongst the very long list of dogs that he bred and reared and our champion stakes winner, Lemon Ralph, Lemon Shane, Lemon Rambo, Lemon Aussie, the wonderfully named Doggy McDogface, Lemon Zamora, Ballybock Mike, Lemon Blaze, Rock's Home Dream, Blue East, 2019 Kirby winner, Toolmaker Josie, and the aforementioned Scolari Me Daddy, Sir Paddy, 2016 Oaks winner, Witch's Bell, and so on. Others, including White Sox Rocks and Kilmore Lemon, became stars across the water. But in truth, there's too many to mention. If Dinny can't remember them all, I don't know how I can be expected to remember them all either. In truth, hundreds of brilliant greyhounds have emerged from Three Castles. These days, Dinny takes more of a backseat, with his son Tom looking after most of the dogs. But he's always there to lend a hand. Tom, after all, also runs a farm and is bringing up a family. His daughter is Aileen, who is a board member with Rossio Canaran, and Kathleen, who was the first female racing manager in the history of Irish greyhound racing, remains steeped in the sport and seem likely to continue to do so. And the Lemon prefix will be carried on by top-class greyhounds for quite some time. Dinny admits the dream is still to produce a Derby champion on the track, and I wouldn't rule it out. He could speak all day about greyhounds and the sport of greyhound racing. You can tell it means so much to him. When I made the call to speak to him in advance of writing this citation, his first words were, "I don't know how they gave it to me," when referring to this recognition. But for over 50 years, he's been breeding, rearing and training some of the fastest greyhounds to ever race on Irish soil. In my mind, and those who love the sport, that certainly earns him a place in the Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to say to you, your Hall of Fame inductee for 2021 is the Lemon Man, Dinny Lennon. And it gives me great satisfaction to say that Dinny is on hand. We can see you Zoom. I know you're a regular Zoom user, Dinny. You're very welcome to the chat here this evening, surrounded by your grandchildren. May I just name a few names? Let me know if I've called or missed anyone. Lucy, Emma, Sarah, Gillian, Laura, Amy, Dara and Colin. Did I miss anyone? I see only 5 on the screen.
I don't think you did.
Firstly, before we go on, we'd just like to congratulate Colin. Colin is after becoming a guard in the last week or two. Am I right in saying that?
Only in the last few days.
In the last few days. Well, congratulations to you, Colin. We were expecting you to sit down in front there, sucking on a lollipop, but no sign of him. Dinny, congratulations. You're in greyhounds a long, long time. You mentioned there Lemon Flash, but the first memories include the likes of Spanish Battleship.
Oh, yeah. From my young days, anyway.
And tell me this, we've spoken of many of the stars that you trained. Of course, Thomas the Tank is a special place in your heart. So too does Scolari my daddy. Any more?
Lemon Sash, Lemon Trooper was a great dog. When he had a problem when the weather got warm, he couldn't eat. So he was as fast a dog as I ever had only for that.
I know you're into your 80s at this stage, but it looks like you've got plenty of help. Are the girls any good with walking the dogs?
Oh, they are, yeah. They are, yeah. They're good at walking the pet dogs.
The pet dogs. Is there plenty of pet dogs down there too?
Oh, yeah, there's a few of them here in the house at the moment, actually.
Listen, Dinny, we won't keep you too long. Once again, my sincerest congratulations. It's a thoroughly deserved award. I assume you've been getting plenty of well wishers over the last few weeks.
Oh, I have, yes, I have. Australia and England even.
Yeah. Well, thoroughly deserved. Listen, Dinny, enjoy the success. Have great celebrations down there. It looks like you won't be short of company anyway.
No. But even before you finish, I would like to say thanks to whoever it was that picked out my name anyway.
Well, it wasn't just a pluck out of the air, Dinny. I think your body of work deserves it.
I'm very honoured to have been picked anyway.
Well, listen, Dinny, we'll let you go. Best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you in September time, perhaps with a Derby challenger.
I hope so anyway, I hope so.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, our Hall of Fame inductee for 2021, the Lemon Man, Dinny Lennon. And so, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our heartiest congratulations to Dinny Lennon, a great man, a great doggy man, and a very, very worthy recipient of the Hall of Fame for 2021. Now we move on back to our canine stars here this evening. And next up, we're going to take a look at the Future Star category. This category was initially introduced to honour the young greyhounds that set pulses racing and brought people to the track. In these times, more than ever, we need the canine stars to bring people in crowds to our stadiums. This very special trio certainly fall into that bracket. First up, we have Crafty Kokoro. Shane Dively's daughter of Droopy Sydney and Cockier Confident made a special debut in the opening round of the Explosive Boy Unraced at Clonmel in October, posting a brilliant 28.42. She found bad traffic a week later and exited the stake, but she had hinted what was to follow. Despite her inexperience, she was entered in the National Puppy Stake, and it was in this competition that we discovered what she was all about. Producing a series of incredible finishes, she progressed to the decider, where she again flew home to finish runner-up to Scooby Prince. She was thrown in against all age competitors at the Winter Racing Festival, and while only finishing fourth, there were plenty of people talking about her after racing rather than some of the winners. She displayed awesome pace against the top-class field, and that included the likes of a classic finalist and a Ledger champion. She ended the year by reaching the final of the Christmas Oaks, clocking 28.28 and 28.37 in the prelims, despite having to come from well off the place. Luck was again against her in the decider, but she is still one of the most spoken about youngsters in training and seems set for a massive 2022. Next, we have Susie Sapphire. It's not the first time this daughter of Droopy's Jet and Jetstream Links got a mention here this evening. It's difficult to believe that Susie Sapphire lost 3 of her first 4 career starts, but she quickly caught on. Winning her next 3 outings, she raced a Puppy Oak success in fine style. Still, few could have expected what was to follow. She took the well-trodden path of the Sporting Press Irish Oaks following her Puppy Oaks victory, and duly completed the famous double, improving with each outing to produce a brilliant 28.15 run in the final. Incredibly, better still came. The decision was made to give her a Derby entry, and the rest, as they say, is history. Going unbeaten through the prelims, she produced the most perfect front-running display to emerge the fastest Derby winner of all time, seeing off Sing Along Sally in 29.18. Achieving all this before she turned 2 years of age ensured that she was guaranteed a nominee in the Future Star category. Our third candidate is 2 in a row. The son of Droopy Sydney and Moor Daniel Beauty made a wonderful start to his career, winning the Casey's Caravan and Camping Park unraced at Kilcohen Park. Foot perfect through the stake, he was dominant in the decider, seeing off the very fast Droopy's Optimum by 5 lengths in 28.28. It was on to Shelburne Park for the January 20 whelp, and after a couple of fast trials, he looked the real deal when winning in his Dublin debut in 28.24. He suffered his first and only defeat to date a week later, when finishing second, but quickly got back to winning ways. He was the star of the early rounds of the National Puppy Stake, winning his opening round assignment in a stunning 28.12 before emerging a facile semi-final winner in 28.21. Sadly, he missed the final, but he had already established himself as one of the most exciting young trackers in training, and he's certainly a worthy nominee. They are 3 very, very special youngsters. Have no doubt they will bring people to the track in 2022. But again, there can only be one winner, and Frank Nihan is on hand to tell us which it is.
And the Future Star of the year is Susie Sapphire.
Congratulations to Owen McKenna and Peter Comerford. Anytime a puppy wins a Puppy Oaks, and Irish Derby in the same year, pretty much ensures them victory in a category like this. Of course, it's never been achieved, Susie Sapphire being the first. And I'm glad to say we don't just have Peter Comerford, but we have the other man as well. The man on the right, well, my right, Owen McKenna. Owen, firstly, I'm going to go to you. We've spoken to Peter already. We will come back to him. But Owen, you've trained some very special ones. She wasn't your first Derby champion, but this lady must hold a very, very special place in your heart.
Yeah, she's been, as the boss here beside me says, she's been unreal all last year, you know, so it's been a great year with her, like, so it's, for a bit, her age of her, for what she did, and, you know, to take on the dogs, and, you know, won't be getting one of them again.
Come here, how did you get her beaten in 3 of her first 4 starts, Owen?
That's what everybody wants to know. Did a good job with that, didn't I?
Was Damien Lonigan on holidays that week, was he?
Oh yeah, very good, Ian. Go on, keep going. No, maybe he came then afterwards, alright, but no, she obviously we threw her into Newbridge, very lightly trialled, and you know, she fell out in her nose, and we went out the first night out of the stake, so we went to Shelburne a couple of races, and you know, so we said we'd throw her into the Puppy Oaks, and you know, she went from strength to strength, so lucky enough, things worked out.
We have to mention she was due to run here at Shelburne Park last night. She was 2-5 favourite to win the Bresbet Easter Cup. She's still 2-5 favourite to win the Bresbet Easter Cup, but it is in 6 days' time. Is she okay? Is she a bit disappointed in herself?
Well, she had a trip to Dublin last night for nothing. We were just heading down the Long Mile Road and we got the call, and she
You're
was
popping to
wondering-
McDonald's on the way home with her.
Something like that, all right. Supermax, but no, she's one. She loves to, you know what I mean. She has her own way of doing things, and routine is everything to her. So when she didn't get her run last night, she was wondering. But no, hopefully she'll be fit and ready for next week.
Yeah, Peter, this is the Future Star Award. Like, she's already a star, but it must be a situation where you were pinching yourself that she achieved all this before she turned 2 years of age. She's only gone 2 since November. Have you ever seen anything like it?
No, I'm just wondering what was on doing with her for 3 races now, all right? No, but I've never seen, and I didn't think any bitch could do what she done, now, to tell you the truth. I'd always thought maybe a dog could do what she do, but I didn't think a bitch could really do what she has done. It's incredible.
Yeah, truly.
Going for her, it's handing over.
Yeah, it truly is incredible. We won't throw too many plaudits at them just yet now, you know what I mean? We've a couple more awards later on this evening. You never know. We might be speaking to you again. But for the moment, gentlemen, enjoy the rest of the show. And again, congratulations with your Future Star Award winner, Susie Sapphire. She really is 1 in a million. Yes, indeed. A truly wonderful performer, Susie Sapphire, the Future Star Award winner for 2021. We'll move straight on. And while we speak of the speedster that is Susie Sapphire, we really move into the proper speedsters, the Sprinter of the Year category. And our first nominee is Ella Supremo. This brilliant son of Ballymac Best and Mash Mad Eyebrows debuted in March over 4 bends, but was quickly stepped back in trip. It was a turn that turned into an inspired move, although he did win only 1 of his first 5 sprint outings. It was a move to Dundalk for the Irish Sprint Cup that saw him find his feet. He suffered defeat in the opening round, but in the subsequent weeks won in 21.41, 20.97 and 21 seconds. He was understandably one of the favourites to land the Sprint Classic, but encountered traffic in Decider when finishing 3rd. He was to taste big race success, however. He was aimed at the Fair Warrior Sprint at Mullingar and really took to Mullingar, to the Midlands venue, winning his first 3-round assignments in style. He suffered defeat in the semis, but was back to his best in the Decider, coming home clear in 21.34. He ended the year by reaching another final, that of the Resets Open Sprint at Shelburne, but again, luck was not on his side in the final. In terms of consistency, few could match him through the year. The second nominee is Good Cody. John Kennedy's star was already a star over 4 bends after a series of brilliant displays through the Produce Stakes before he dropped in trip for a crack at the Irish Sprint Cup. It came as no surprise to those that had seen him in Clonmel that he made into a serious sprinter. Looking right at home around Dundalk, he clocked 20.92, 20.91 and 20.92 in the first 3 rounds of the Classic before suffering his first defeat over 2 bends in the semis. Despite this, he was disputing favouritism in the final and roared back to form to record a fastest of the year, 20.86. He ended the year winning the Kingdom Derby, but as a sprinter, he couldn't have done much more than win 4 out of his 5 starts over 2 bends, landing the Irish Sprint Classic in the process. Our third candidate is Two Amigos. This fellow quickly developed into a top-class sprinter. A dog who came back from the brink of death as a youngster. He made a wonderful start to his 2-bend career, winning his first 4 sprint outings and quickly establishing himself as one of the best in the land. He continued to race in the very best of company in the summer and posted some electric times, including a fastest of the year, 18.41 at Shelburne Park and Champion Stakes final night. He returned on Derby final night and saw a top-class field in 18.51. In all, he won 8 sprints through 2021 and was a potent force throughout. 3 top-class sprinters, I think you'll agree. But, as we've said all evening, we might as well stick to the trend. There can only be one winner. And this time, I'm going to ask our new CEO, Dervla O'Brien, to announce the winner.
Thank you, Ian. And the winner of the Sprinter of the Year award goes to Good Cody.
The Irish Sprint Cup champion continues to be amongst the very fastest in training and is amongst one of the favourites for Derby Glory this year. Whether that means we will see him return to the Irish Sprint Cup has yet to be seen, but for now we can just say that he's a thoroughly deserving winner of the Sprinter of the Year. I'm glad to say we've been joined by John Kennedy and Pat Guilfoyle, both men who trained him at various points through the year. John, you were the man on hand to train him for his Irish Sprint Cup Classic success. It was a no-brainer to switch him back to the two bends after what he had shown in Clonmel, I'm sure.
It was, yeah. He went great in Clonmel as well. Like, he's had the track record actually for the third bend clock and the first bend sectional. Like, so he said we stepping back to sprint distance then, and she looked worked out grand in the end. He won it, so that's all we can ask for.
He's one of those dogs that just has brute speed. You know, have you ever trained anything like him or seen anything like him down your own base?
No, it's strange for a definite opinion as well, because we've had a good few definite opinions now, and there seem to be more stayers. But this lad, we've never had anything like him. Like, he's electric when he hits the lids. Like, even the night in Shelburne when he done 28-13 the Gold Cup, he was just electric that night again. Like, but they're hard to come across dogs like him. So when you get me, you have to appreciate him. Like.
We have to mention the man to the side of you there, Pat Guilfoyle. You won this category last year with Grangeview 10. Similar type greyhounds, both exceptional over four bends, and the fact that they could switch back to the two bends is a testament to their true ability.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, just like Grangeview 10, Cody, a very fast dog, you know, very great early pace. But John had him for the national sprint, so all credit goes to the Kennedys for that one, I'm afraid. So fair play. But he's a beautiful dog, yeah. He is. He's very, very fast and loads of pace and loads of. If you could just get races for him now, yeah.
I remember you sort of said when you were getting the dog, I'm more than happy to take him. Things have worked out quite well in that department. He won the Kingdom Derby for you at the back end of the year. We saw him in action the other evening in Tralee and ran a big race in the feed after not getting his start. But what's the plan? Are we looking at a sprint or are we looking at the Derby?
I'm not sure. That's John's call, really, to be honest with you. So I'm leaving it all up to him. I'm happy to do whatever they want, but I don't know. I suppose at the moment I just love to get regular races into him. You know, it's just when the weather's coming nice, but it's hard to find them. You know, so yeah. So look, we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks, and that. But he's in great form since the other night. He can always race well. I think he's a dog who just. John, I'm sure John will agree, he just needs a regular racing. And so if you get a couple of consecutive races into him, I'd say, when the weather turns nice, I'd say he'll really be special this year, you know.
Well, John, has the decision been made? Are we talking sprinting or are we talking Derby?
Oh, that's Paddy's job. I'll leave it up to him now. So
here.
The pressure's on him now, so I'll leave it on to him.
At this stage, lads, I'm only short of flipping a coin.
That's it now, yeah. I will see. He'll tell us himself, I'm sure, after a couple of races anyway, you know. So, yeah.
Well, the beauty of it is, this time last year, Pat, we were talking about Grangeview 10. Having been retired, this time you have a proper dog in the prime of his racing career to look forward to. John, I'm sure you'll point Pat in the right direction. Gentlemen, all I know is you have a very fast one. Best of luck with him for the remainder of 2022.
Thanks very much, Gene. Thanks.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're going to go to another extreme now. We've just crowned the Sprinter of the Year, so why not go to the other end of the spectrum, the Marathon Greyhound of the Year, the Stayer of the Year. And three greyhounds really did stand out from the pack as far as picking the Stayer of the Year award was concerned. All three tasted glory over the extended trip, and our first nomination is Dana Point. This daughter of Sparta Maestro and Blundell Spark was a nominee last year and had another stellar year, confirming her standing as Ireland's very best ultramarathon performer. She wasn't overly busy in the opening half of the year, but managed to finish third in the Droopies Biker at Stud Open 750. Next, onto the Cambridgeshire at Limerick, and she improved through the competition, winning her semi and flying home to finish second in the decider. She was starting to hit top form, and her next outings was evidence of the fact. Racing beyond 750 yards for the first time in 2021, she smashed the 850-yard record at Shelburne Park, a long-standing 850-yard record. It was then on to the Winter Racing Festival, where she won for the second year running, before returning a week later for the Shelburne Open Marathon over the 2 laps. She duly defended her title. It means that after 2 years of racing, she remains unbeaten over trips in excess of 750 yards and is Ireland's undoubted ultramarathon queen. Next up, we have Generous Angel. Brian Larkin's daughter of Ballymac and over to her, made quite an impact in a short space of time. She travelled to Shelburne Park for the first time in October and displayed real promise when winning a 5.75. She certainly looked likely to develop into a top-class stayer, and we didn't have to wait long until she was entered for the valuable Talking Dogs Novice 750. She suffered defeat in the opening round, although that can be put down to her jacket coming loose during the race. It was the last and only time she would suffer defeat over 6 bends. She went on to star in the competition, winning the final in comfortable fashion. Her next appearance came at the Winter Racing Festival, where she was sent off a 10-1 chance, but many of Ireland's top stayers didn't see which way she went. Breaking fast, she maintained a relentless gallop throughout to score in 41.25. I can safely say it's the last time she'll ever go off a 10-1. She is now firmly established as one of the best stayers in training. Our final nominee is Price's Jet. The Paul Hennessy-trained son of Droopy's Jet in Ravenna wasn't just one of Ireland's best stayers through 2021, he was also one of the very best and most consistent dogs over 4 bends. Amongst his best performances was a track record over the Derby trip at Toaster, while he made the final of the Champion Stakes and Ledger, as well as reaching the Derby semis. But the reason he is nominated for Stay of the Year is because he stepped up to 6 bends for a crack at the Corn-Cuchulainn. His 4-bend speed really stood to him through the Classic, and he seemed to relish getting loose in the early yards in each of the 4 rounds. He was picked up in both the quarterfinal and semis, but in the decider, there was no stopping the powerful black. Again, he showed tremendous early speed, built a decisive lead before coasting home a thoroughly deserving winner of the €10,500 prize. He proved that it doesn't matter what distance you're running over, brute pace and a will to win is a potent weapon. They are 3 very, very talented stayers, and each would be a worthy winner. But as I've said on more than one occasion tonight, there can only be one champion, so we'll ask Dervla to take us out of our misery.
Thank you. The winner of Stayer of the Year goes to Dana Point. Congratulations.
A huge congratulations to Sean Mullins and to Wally Curtin. Their star is currently in season, but they hope to be back with her in the future for one last hurrah. Her record over extreme distances is incredible, and she thoroughly is a deserving winner of the Marathon Greyhound of the Year award. I'm glad to say I'll be joined by Sean Mullins, a man I've spoken to a couple of times in recent weeks and months. Sean, congratulations. Dana Point, she's a bitch in a lifetime. It just so happens that you managed to get 1 or 2 of them like it at the same time. You had her sister who was a star on the track. There was another one that looked likely to be a superstar as well. She unfortunately picked up an injury earlier in her career, but Dana Point is something special, yet to suffer defeat over a race further than 750 yards.
Yeah, and thanks Ian. Thanks for the selection. She's very special, and we're very lucky to have her, very lucky to get her with her 2 sisters all at the same time. Ollie and myself don't underestimate, how difficult it is to come across dogs like this. To get one to be competitive in Shelbourne Park is very difficult. And with Dana, she's just been so unreal. It's about a 2.5-hour journey back to Gort and Ardrahan on a Saturday night, and it's only 15 minutes with Dana.
Yeah.
Because we're in Cloud Cooker land with her.
It's a well-trodden path at this stage. You let her do her own thing in the first half of the year and then bring her to the Boyle in the second half of the year. She's twice won at the Winter Racing Festival, twice the Shelbourne Open Marathon winner, and this year the added bonus of winning that 8:50 in a track record breaking time. She really is something special. Of course, you were planning to go to UK last year and this year, but Mother Nature stood in the way.
Yeah, sent her over to Kevin Hutton last year, and she was only there a couple of days and she came in season, and we were planning the same thing this year, and she obviously doesn't like travelling. She said no, she came in season again, so we thought about covering her, and then we said, look, she's showing no sign of her age. She'll be 4 in October. But she's like a 14-month-old bitch, and we said we'd bring her back in the summer now, get her fit, see what she's telling us, and have a crack at the end of the year again.
It sounds like you are planning to cover her in the future. No matter what she does in the remainder of her racing career, she has nothing to prove. I really do hope that she produces a few superstars, perhaps like herself in the future. But you never know, how often do these stayers produce duns with real early speed? You never know. You could be talking about an Irish Sprint Cup champion at a Dana Point in a few years' time. You never know.
Absolutely. You never know. We have 4 Droopy Sydney's pups out of her sister, Kissing Angel. And we have our other sister, Miss Joss, nearly forgot her name, as well, to look forward to breeding to in the future.
It looks like the way petrol prices have gone, it's going to cost you a few quid to come up to Shelburne Park because they're all bred to be stars.
With the help of God, you never worry about the diesel when you win.
You certainly don't. Sean, congratulations. Pass on our regards to Ollie. And once again, the best of luck with Dana Point in the future. I hope that I see her in the future because I love a stayer.
Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Dana Point, a brilliant winner of the Stayer of the Year title. Congratulations to her, to Ollie Curtin and to Sean Mullins. Now, from one fantastic bitch to three fantastic bitches, because our next award this evening is for Bitch of the Year. It's been an incredible 3 years for the ladies, and 2021 was perhaps the best yet, with the fairer sex winning so many big prizes. This year's nominations are, well, they're a pretty special group, to be honest. First up, we have the Maria and John Kennedy bred, owned and trained Billy's Diva. This daughter of Good News and JT Sahara was amongst the very best in training, male or female. She seemed to challenge for every major prize and tasted classic success. She began the year in the Easter Cup and was brilliant through the oldest competition on the calendar, starting favourite in the decider before finishing a good third. A month later, she reached the final of the Shelburne Open 600 unbeaten before finishing fourth. She again went unbeaten through the prelims in the Sporting Press Irish Oaks, but found traffic in decider where she finished third. Her first big race success of the year came at Curryheen Park in late July when she ran out a brilliant winner of the Shelley Fennelly Memorial, but better was still to come. Her sporting connections decided to challenge for the English Oaks at Perry Bar, and it was an inspired decision. Impressing through the early rounds, she produced a brilliant display to win the decider in late October, becoming the first Irish winner since 2005. She had a truly incredible year and is a very worthy nominee. Next up is Sing Along Sally. The Juvenile Classic winner was a certain nomination after a wonderful 12 months that saw her challenge for major honours throughout. The Pat Buckley trained starlet was always very well thought of, and it was obvious why when you consider her run through the Juvenile Classic. In what was a vintage renewal of the Unraced Classic, she was one of the standout stars and produced a typically professional display to win the final. There was no time for resting on her laurels, as she was then thrown in straight to the Kirby Memorial at Limerick, and again made the final. Bad traffic ended her hopes, but she was already established as one of the best in training. After a season layoff, she returned for the Derby Challenge, and she improved with each outing through the blue ribbon. By the time the final came along, she was ready to give her all. She played a part in making this one of the most memorable Derby finals in recent years, finishing runner-up. She ended the year also in style, finishing third in the Kingdom Derby and winning at the Winter Racing Festival. It was a truly special year for a very special lady. The final candidate just had to be Susie Sapphire. Already named the Future Star Award winner, the Derby and Oaks champion had a year like no other. As stated earlier, she made a real splash in the Puppy Oaks, improving through the stake to peak in the final. It was a similar scenario in the Sporting Press Irish Oaks, again producing her best in the final to see off an incredible field. Amazingly, better was to come. She was entered for the Derby and immediately seemed to relish the longer run to the turn over 550 yards. Producing a series of foot-perfect displays through the early rounds, she was a deserving favourite for the final. As she had done in both the Puppy Oaks and Oaks victories, she produced her very best performance in the final to become the fastest Derby winner of all time, the second youngest winner of all time, the first bitch this century to win the Classic, the first unbeaten winner since 2009, the first bitch to win the Oaks and Derby in the same calendar year, and unbelievably, she did all this before her second birthday. It's fair to say she deserves a nomination. Yes, it was a truly spectacular year for the ladies. In many previous years, the two losers would have been Bitch of the Year quite comfortably, but this was no ordinary year. If you don't mind, Dervla, please announce the winner of Bitch of the Year.
The winner is Susie Sapphire. Congratulations to Peter and Owen.
I don't think it'll come as much of a shock to anyone. For Peter Comerford, Owen McKenna and their families, this is a bitch of a lifetime. the Greyhound of a lifetime. Such is her popularity and brilliance. Many feel ownership of this lady, myself included. She was due to race here last night in the Bresbet Easter Cup, but the gods had other ideas. Thankfully, she seems as good as ever this year, and we look forward to seeing her back in action 6 days from now at this famous venue. Once again, I'm joined by Peter Comerford and Owen McKenna, who I don't know what they're going to say except, you know, deja vu, lads, deja vu. Peter, firstly, we're going to start with you. You have a Future Star Award winner. You have a Bitch of the Year Award winner. Just so happens they're the same performer. I don't suppose this comes as a shock.
No, it doesn't come as a shock. I mean,
yeah, you are.
Yeah, it doesn't come as a shock. No, absolutely thrilled how good she is, and we bred her at home, and for the family it's great because we're all involved with them, you know. And as you know, for a long time in greyhounds, and it's and the grandchildren here now are getting involved with them and giving a hand out, and we're down looking at this now. They'll be thrilled.
During her Derby campaign, her Oaks campaign, and even as a puppy, Jeannie kept us all up to date on social media. There's great pictures out there. We literally saw her growing up on Facebook and the likes. I suppose that's the reason why she's so popular, because we all feel like we've watched her growing up.
Yeah, she's very good at that end of it. She doesn't let me see much of it, or I've never seen much, but she does all this herself. And she's great, when they're young and you know, doing everything with them, and the grandchildren, she brings them around with them, and so it makes a terrible difference to dogs because they get confident and going anywhere in that, you know.
Yeah. Owen McKenna, you were on the end of the lead. You know how special she is. Your legendary father, the great Jerry McKenna, he had some great bitches through the years. I think you might have won to rival anything that he had.
Yeah, he had some very good bitches. Probably named as Pixie was as good as bitches he had. She won the Oaks. I think she was third in 2 derbies, but this bitch been, I don't know, we never have anything like her anyway. She just loves racing. Her attitude to the game, like, it's unreal. It's just like people said to me after the derby last year, will you retire? And I said to Peter, well, I know he wanted to run. She said she's too young. You know, like, we hate to lose her out of the kennel anyway, but she wants to go every day of the week, you know. So it is here. She was only a young bitch, so when she's a bitch for everybody really to enjoy. You know, it's long may she keep going for us and for everybody to watch. And like, she's in a good race Saturday night. She's a very short price. I don't know why she's so short. Like, it's a great race. But, you know, she's well drawn, like, and it's great to be there. It's great to have her back, and, you know, hopefully she stays sound and we'll have another good year over, please God.
I know we don't want to wish her racing career over anytime soon, but you have to stay in with Peter. You can't fall out with him, because she'll have pups in the ground in a few years' time. You wouldn't mind training a few of them?
Well, no. We'll every time he rings up, I'll answer the phone and say yes or no, sir, at the moment. So
3 bags full, sir.
You know, she's going well now, and we were half brother there now, young dog ready for the Kirby. So, like, you know, long may she stay going for another while anyway, and we'll see how it happens.
Well, gentlemen, all I could say is congratulations once again. We've spoken at length about Susie Sapphire. You have to stay with us, because this victory in Bitch of the Year means that she is up for Supreme Greyhound of the Year a little bit later on. We'll find out what her competition is in a few moments. But for the moment, gentlemen, stay safe, and we never know, we might be speaking to you again very soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, where do you go from the ladies? Well, you go on to the boys, and this time we are going to look at Dog of the Year. And we have 3 wonderful greyhounds, 3 dogs that really did light up the track scene throughout 2021. And the first dog we're going to commence with is Explosive Boy. Peter Sutcliffe tried and failed to get back to Ireland from his Australian base on more than one occasion. The performances of his Explosive Boy would have helped ease the pain, however. The Pack-Mule foil-trained son of Good News and Delightful Girl danced every dance through the year. He began the year with a few sharpeners over 2 bends, but when he stepped back up to 4 bends for a crack at the Kirby Memorial, he was ready to amaze. Living up to his name throughout the competition, he started a hot favourite for the decider, only to find bad traffic. He didn't have to wait long for classic success, however, as he went straight to Clonmel, where he was brilliant through the Produce Stakes before winning the final in typically professional fashion. He certainly wasn't finished. A week after his Produce Stakes victory, he lined up in the Race of Champions at Tralee and duly smashed the track record in the semi-finals before again dominating in the decider. He was now at the very peak of his powers and went into the Derby as one of the shortest anti-post favourites in history. After a stress-free passage to the final, he was installed second favourite behind our bitch of the year, Susie Sapphire. But a trap 4 draw and a relatively moderate start proved his undoing. He eventually finished fourth, but what he achieved in 2021 will be remembered for a long, long time, most notably by Peter Sutcliffe. Next, we have Good Cody. The sprinter of the year is now a kennel companion to Explosive Boy, but he began the year at home with his breeder, owner, trainer John Kennedy. The son of Definite Opinion and Soho Arc began his career in the Juvenile Classic, reaching the semi-finals, but it was in the Produce Stakes that things really started to click for the Flying Blue. Displaying awesome early speed in the early rounds, he quickly established himself as one of the favourites for outright glory. He posted the fastest of the competition, 28.09 in the semis, but a poor draw in the decider ended his hopes. He made a quick return before a crack at the Bar 1 Racing Irish Sprint Cup. And as we've already stated earlier on in the evening, he really took to the sprinting game. Displaying all his brute pace, he won the final in tremendous fashion in the fastest of the year, 2086. He then made the move to Pat Guilfoyle's kennels. It took a little time, should I say, for him to settle, but he did return to his very best at the end of the year, running out a brilliant winner of the Kingdom Derby in late December. A dog with blistering early speed and the strength to see out 4 bends. It was clear he was amongst the very best on Irish shores in 2021. Last, but certainly not least, is Skywalker Barry. A future star nominee last year, he lived up to that billing through 2021. Ray Patterson, son of Droopy's Jet and Kalzagi Jan, was lightly raced through the opening months of the year, but returned in real style for the select stakes at Kilcohen Park, Waterford in April. The competition certainly lived up to his name, and the decider featured so many of Ireland's best, but they were all left chasing Skywalker Barry as he produced a foot-perfect display to run out, and a very worthy winner. Next, it was on to Curryheen Park for the valuable Clona Blaze that stood open 525, and again Skywalker Barry was at his imperious best, winning the final with typically ruthless efficiency. He was a model of consistency through the remainder of the year, finishing third when hot favourite for the Derby Plate, and winning a race at the Winter Racing Festival. But he also went close to claiming further classic glory in the Laurels. He was joint favourite in the decider, but a rare miskick ended his claims. He did, however, run a big race to come through for second. For good measure, he also reached the final of the Kingdom Derby, where he finished fourth to sign off the year. A hugely consistent former with real class and ability, he was one of the undoubted stars of the track in 2021. I think you'll agree that they are 3 world-class greyhounds that any one of us would love to be a part of. They helped make 2021 one of the great years in modern greyhound racing. And also, I ask Dervla once again to relieve the tension and to reveal the winner.
The winner of Dog of the Year goes to Explosive Boy.
So a huge congratulations to Explosive Boy, his owner Peter Sutcliffe and his master trainer Pat Guilfoyle. Of course, Explosive Boy returned to action at Tralee on Friday evening, and we look forward to seeing him challenge for all the major honours in the coming months. We are lucky enough to have John Kennedy and Pat Guilfoyle once again. Of course, John, the breeder of Explosive Boy. You let him go, John. How did that happen?
I don't know, we don't make too many mistakes now, so Paddy was cute enough to catch us out that one time. He was. It won't happen again, Ian, anyway, don't worry about
that. Pat, Explosive Boy, it's, it's hard to forget what a superstar he was through that early part of the year and right through the summer. He maintains his consistency throughout the year. A dog that at the start of his career didn't look like he'd stay 525 yards, but you strengthened him up, you kept him sharp, and in the end, he broke a track record over 550 yards around Tralee. He went to the Derby final. Not too many you get like that.
No, he was a great dog. And he was one of many great dogs that we got from the Kennedys over the years. And he was fantastic. Like, as you said, he was the talking dog of the Concurby last year, was a brilliant Produce Stakes winner, and they went on to win the Race of Champions. So he started. We aimed him at the Derby then, of course, and he started off winning his first 2 rounds. But then we got that kennel sickness during it. And look, in hindsight, I probably should have just called it a day after the second round. But it's the Derby, and you have Derby favourite and all that. So we kept him going as best we could, but he lost his form completely, and for a long time afterwards, I suppose. But we gave him a good rest there for the winter. He had a few straws drawn off. They're available now. Sean Burke has them advertised there, I think, last week, and another batch of them went over to Australia. So he's already down to start back this year again.
Of course, it'll be his last year in Ireland. He's off to Australia when he retires.
I know. I don't think Peter's 100% sure on that now at the moment, to be honest. He may stand at stud here, so I'm not sure, but he'll race this year anyway. But where we'll be running next, I'm not 100% sure. I'll be chatting to Peter there this week. I know Peter is anxious to run him in the English Derby, so that's a discussion we'll have to have this week. So whether if he was to go for the English Derby, obviously it's quite hard for us to get him across. So if he was, he'd probably have to go across to an English trainer and stuff like that. So that's where we're at the moment with him. There's not a whole pile coming up for him here in Ireland at the moment. You'd have the Race of Champions in Tralee back in June and things like that, but that's a bit away now. So, and we want to get him up and going because he's mad for racing. He ran well the other night because he just completely missed his break because he's so fresh, and he's always been the nature of the dog that he needs a couple of races to kind of find his best form again. So yeah, but maybe if John takes over Cody to Derby, he might take Explosive Boy with him, sure.
He'll be on his
holidays from college and all, so
and head off to Toaster.
We can split the expenses, cost of diesel and all that.
John, is that a proposition?
I had to book me in a big hotel, 5-star. I don't mind staying anywhere.
We'll do that, don't worry. We'll look after you, John.
Only the best. Listen, gentlemen, I'll let you go. Congratulations once again. Stay on the line. He's up for Supreme Greyhound of the Year. We'll find out that in a few minutes' time.
Thanks very much, Ian. Cheers.
Thanks.
Well, folks, we are going to take another short little break, but before we do, we urge you to stay with us. We're going to give you another nice video piece. This time, it's a behind-the-scenes look of how we got back to business. Yes, indeed. The message is we are back open and we are ready to take your business. Why not? Well, recommend us to your family and friends. Get back to our restaurants here at your local stadia. I guarantee you won't regret it. Tremendous racing, tremendous food, and tremendous atmosphere. Now, folks, we move on because we have the Special Merit Award winner to speak of. Next, we have this... we have to honour a lady who truly loves her greyhound sport, comes from a family steeped in rich greyhound history and gives her support to one of the truly great events on the World Greyhound Racing calendar. Noreen McManus, along with her husband JP, have since 2013 sponsored the Con and Annie Kirby Memorial, named in memory of Noreen's parents. The event not only showcases the best young greyhounds in Ireland, but also brings a number of sporting communities together for those few weeks. Here to tell us more is Noel Early.
Well, Con and Annie Kirby are Noreen's parents, who were hugely involved in greyhound racing all their lives, and made a huge contribution to greyhound racing in Limerick and the Limerick area. And Noreen then followed on into that great family tradition, and from childhood really has been involved in greyhound racing, the coursing and also on the track, and has a great love of it, and still very committed to it today. Obviously it's to commemorate her parents, and it started back in 2013. Noreen, JP and Declan Moylan, they were the brains behind it, and they, in conjunction with the Greyhound board, they put together the concept of the Con and Annie Kirby, and I suppose it was particularly significant for Limerick Greyhound track at the time, because it kind of helped in the transition from the Markets Field, which would have been a great place for Noreen to go with her parents, and later with, of course, JP was a bookie there as well. But then it helped the transition to the new Limerick Greyhound track on the Dock Road, and the concept at the time, and I think it still is, the richest puppy derby in the world. So it sprung from those minds, and I think it has done great service to greyhound racing. I know it's very much looked forward to each year. It brings two of Noreen's great loves, I suppose, the greyhounds and the GA together, and I know it generates huge excitement and enthusiasm from the GA clubs each year, because there's the prospect that they may, as well as being involved in the competition, they may end up in the final and get some badly needed, I'm sure, prize money. And the previous runnings of this event have been fantastic, producing wonderful greyhounds and great entertainment. And we look forward to this year's one as well, and hopefully it'll be every bit as good as previous ones, and will generate great excitement and entertainment for all involved. Unfortunately, Noreen can't be with us this evening, but I suppose it's just this whole Con and Annie Kirby concept. It's just a wonderful way for her parents to be remembered. She's hugely grateful to the greyhound industry for this award, and I suppose as a huge enthusiast of the greyhound industry, she's delighted to be acknowledged, but also to acknowledge the greyhound industry in total, because she has a great love for it. She's very well known in the industry, and many people looking in tonight will know her, and know her personally, because of her involvement in the coursing and in the track, and just hugely honoured to receive this award.
Yes, you heard the words of Noel. Noreen has a great love for the sport and is still deeply committed. Her continued support is greatly appreciated, and we can hopefully look forward to many more Kirby Memorials in future years. Thankfully, Noel is here to speak on Noreen's behalf once again. Noel, you're very welcome to the awards here this evening. Unfortunately, Noreen is a busy, busy woman. Of course, they're getting ready for Cheltenham. The South Liberties colours may be carried to victory by more than one champion up the hill at Cheltenham. I don't know if you'll be able to give us a winner or not, but tell us firstly, what would this mean to Noreen and, of course, her history in the sport?
Good evening, Ian. She's absolutely delighted, thrilled to receive this award, very humbled by it, in truth. She has great friends in the greyhound industry, and she'd just like to pass on her very best wishes to them all tonight. So many of you out there will know her, and she has a great passion for it. I suppose she was bred to the industry really through her mum and dad. It's in her blood, and it's very much part of her DNA. As you rightly said there, maybe your sister industry is taking a little bit more focus this week with Cheltenham coming up. I won't give you any tip because I'll tell you something. You'd never forgive me because you'd lose money. But no, it's a wonderful award, and Noreen is very, very grateful for it. And I suppose the fact that it honours her mum and dad and that it has been a success really makes the award all the more worthy for her.
You said something there, it's in her blood, her DNA. Once it's in there, it's hard to get it out.
Absolutely, yeah. She really loves the sport, and especially the friendships that she's made down through the years. So many people would know her, and be it trainers, owners, just friends, other people who have dogs. She just loves it, and I know she's rightly so. She's a very popular figure because she's a lovely woman, very much down to earth. But in her DNA, as you say, and this award is very special to her.
The new Limerick track is very different to the old Limerick track. We know that it's all shiny and new. It's big, it's beautiful, it's bold. But you see the pictures of the various Kirby nights over the years, and it really is a local night. It's very much something that is very rarely repeated in other sporting occasions. The fact that it's such a local event. You see the GA clubs involved. I suppose that's what makes it a bit special.
It does, because the involvement of the clubs and how seriously they take it. The fun that they generate. Last year they made up songs for the finalists, made up songs for each of their dogs, and the colour that's associated with it, and the competitions that are associated, long puck competitions and long kick competitions, and all. I must say the Greyhound Racing Ireland do a wonderful job in terms of organising it, both on and off the actual track. It generates wonderful interest. And of course, this year there's a little bit of a difference in that the final this year is on a Friday night. It's on the 22nd of April, because there's a small little matter of Limerick playing Waterford the following day in the Gaelic grounds in a Munster Championship match. So hopefully a great Kirby final will kickstart a wonderful weekend of sport.
Indeed, the way Limerick have been over the last 2 or 3 years, I don't think you have to worry too much about Waterford.
I wouldn't say that now. The way we've been playing over the last 6 weeks may make us a little bit worried. And in fairness to Waterford, they're a very, very good team. We acknowledge that here in Limerick, with an ever-strengthening panel and a depth in their panel. And obviously, while we as Limerick people want to win the Munster Championship and the All-Ireland again, I'd say Waterford won't be too far away, to be truthful.
Said like a true diplomat. Noel, I'm going to let you go. Firstly, you said you don't win anything. I was going to say you win nothing in March or April, but in Noreen's case, they do win plenty in March. Hopefully next week they'll have a great week. Pass on our regards to Noreen and of course to JP. Their continued support is greatly appreciated by all involved in the industry, and she's a thoroughly deserving winner of the Special Merit. Again, Noel, thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Ian. Pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, Noreen McManus, a most deserving winner of the Special Merit Award. And again, our sincere thanks to her. Now, from one strong woman to another, let me introduce you to our new CEO of Roscoff Conera, Dervla O'Brien, who wishes to say a few words. Dervla.
Thank you, Ian. Achorja, Aguini Ushla. Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to join with you here this evening in celebrating and honouring the Greyhound racing community in Ireland. Before the Supreme Greyhound of the Year award is announced, what a great title, I want to extend my congratulations to all the trainers and the owners who have either been shortlisted or named overall category winners. These awards serve to remind us of why we are involved in greyhound racing. Apart from the passion and love of the sport, it is also worth noting of the economic value and benefit that this industry brings. I guess the last economic normal year, for want of a better word, was 2019, when RCE commissioned an economic report that showed some 6,200 active greyhound owners in Ireland and 400 active trainers. These are located throughout every part of the country. The industry, in addition, made a net contribution to the economy of some 132.3 million and contributed 4,150 part-time and full-time jobs. So it goes without saying that this is an industry, a sport, and above all, a community worth fighting for. And I commit to that on your behalf. As our chairman, Frank, alluded to earlier, there are many exciting new developments taking place, both on the racetrack, here in terms of Shelbourne Park development, and indeed in respect of RCE's care and welfare programme. And it also gives me great pleasure to announce that this year you can expect to view the Derby on national television. So watch this space. Greyhound racing is back. So on behalf of Rossiad Con Éireann, I hope you enjoyed the proceedings thus far, and it's over to Ian for the final award of the evening. Gur míle maith agaibh.
Derval is throwing in a little teaser there. Hadn't heard about that. We might have to get on the case now off camera. She really did leave us wanting more. We're salivating here. Listen, we'll get to that another time. For the moment, though, from my second home here at Shelbourne Park in the Oak Suite, where we have celebrated many Derby champions, many superstars of the track, it's my final duty this evening to introduce the Supreme Greyhound of the Year award. Our two nominees, as we have discovered over the past 2 hours, are Bitch of the Year, Susie Sapphire, and Dog of the Year, Explosive Boy. Two truly wonderful canine athletes that played a huge role in making 2021 one of the most memorable on the track. Both are already champions. Both have already been recognised for their brilliance. But, as I've said more than once this evening, there can only be one winner. It's a bit like the Highlander. So, for the final time tonight, I would ask our new CEO, Derval O'Brien, who's after leaving us wanting more, to do the honours, ease the suspense, and name the Supreme Tracker of the Year.
Drum roll, please. The Supreme Greyhound of the Year award goes to Susie Sapphire.
But it is one Susie Sapphire. She's setting a searing gallop. She's on by 6 down the far side. 3 Kilpipe Blue challenging for second with 5 Miss Clover. But forget about catching this lady out front. Susie Sapphire, she remains 6-7 clear. 3 Kilpipe Blue shakes off the challenger Miss Clover to go second. Front to Manny's closing fast, but Susie Sapphire will get there. All of a sudden, Susie Sapphire has 3 lengths in hand over 3 in second. Highview Magnet, Billy's Diva gets racing. So 2-5 Ballydoyle Rossa, but Susie Sapphire remains clear. Now 4 Scooby Princess is flying. It's Susie Sapphire with 2 Billy's Diva and Scooby Princess, but Susie Sapphire will win the Sporting Press Oaks. Brilliant performance by this very young daughter of Droopy's Jet. Well done to Owen McKenna and Peter Comerford. I'll say it again. Susie Sapphire, the Oaks champion in 28-15. A brilliant display. Racing, good start by 1 Singlaw. Susie Sapphire up the inside will lead to the bend. From in second, 2 Sing Along Sally. On the outside of her is 3 Carrigain North. Traffic in behind, and Susie Sapphire is clear. It's the ladies first and second. They're going to win the Derby. It's Susie Sapphire from Sing Along Sally. 5 Jack's Little Thing back in third, but it's all about Susie Sapphire. Sing Along Sally is closing the gap fast, but it's Susie Sapphire has won the Derby unbeaten. Sensational stuff from this brilliant lady, owned by Peter Comerford, trained by Owen McKenna, who wins the Derby for the second time following Like a Shot in 2004. Away and gone. We should have expected it. She's done it every night, and Susie Sapphire will be forever known as the 2021 Derby champion.
what a picture. We saw Susie Sapphire in her pomp. We also saw her in her pomp landing the Boyle Sports Irish Greyhound Derby. She's now Bitch of the Year, Future Star of the Year award winner. She's also the Supreme Greyhound of the Year. And again, we are joined by Peter Comerford and Owen McKenna. It's great to see you, men. Long time no speak. Susie Sapphire. It's basically been the National Susie Sapphire Awards here this evening. I'm sure you're not complaining.
No, I'm not on yet.
Peter, you should be bringing the whole family in.
Yeah, well, they're down further down in the house, so I won't upset bring them on now. It's a great honour to get the award on behalf of the family as well, and as I congratulate Owen and his family for such a great training performance. And we're thrilled.
Yeah, indeed. Just looking back at that Derby final, Owen, I still can't remember anything being quite as dominant, I suppose, after 50, 60 yards. She's like passing me. I'm over the second winning line, the commentary box. She was clear. You know, it was early from the early stages. She was a Derby champion. Could you believe your eyes? You were probably watching it from the infield.
Oh, I was trying to watch it, but no, it was the screenshot I think you put up. Was it after, you know, when she ran 3 lengths in front crossing the line first time? She improved as it went on every night, and the draw has been kind to her. We all know that, but I think they would have taken something special now to beat her on the night. You know, she was just determined, and she done everything 110%. So we're just thrilled and delighted, and thanks for everything. And you know, to be nominated was great, and to win all these awards, and just to thank Peter and all the family for giving us the opportunity to train the bitch. And you know, we've loved it, and long may it continue. So, you know, hopefully.
I was going to say your long suffering wife is on your right shoulder there, Sean. It's great to see you. Of course, we know you're the real boss. You were the one that kept everything ticking during the Derby.
Oh, so they say. No, it's been great. We're a team, and that's it. Like, so, you know, we do everything together, and you know, it's just the two of us. The kids are knocking in, and yeah, so it's a real family affair. So it's been a real super year for us all, and something for the kids to remember as they grow up as well. So it's been great.
I think the kids are more than able to remember it now at this stage. They're well and truly old. I saw Kieran the other night in the canteen with Owen, and he's about 6 inches taller than Owen at this stage.
I'm on my knees at the moment.
Listen, folks, on both your parts, it's very much a family affair, and I suppose there's nothing better than sharing occasions like this with family. My serious congratulations to you both. Thoroughly deserving winner, Susie Sapphire. She was very special. She put a smile on all our faces in 2021. At a time when we desperately needed it, she sort of rose to the challenge. And for that, I thank you. And again, I congratulate you. Best of luck, and enjoy the celebrations, folks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We've brought you to the end of proceedings here this evening. It really has been the Susie Sapphire show, but we had a few other winners. We've crowned the stars of the track in 2021. It was a thoroughly enjoyable night, thoroughly enjoyable year. From myself, from the chairman of GRI, Frank Nyan, and of course our new CEO, Derval O'Brien, we thank you for joining us here this evening. And the very best of luck in the future. And who knows, you might have a champion in your hands. We might be honouring you this time next year. But for now, good luck. And God bless.
It's all about Sing Along Sally out in front. They're going to have to go some to catch this lady as they come around the final bend. Sing Along Sally all the way victory. What a performance by this bitch. Sing Along Sally the winner. 12-1. 5 was third. 4-1 and 5. Sing
The big three, first, second and third, but Knock the Bull Sid still is 4.5 in hand and 3. Billy Stephen, great name that. Knock the Bull Sid, clear off the final turn, will win the Easter Cup for 2021.
Around the top 2 bends, and this is where Ballymacwild is challenging Pierno. It's Ballymacwild, Pierno, Beach Avenue down the outside. Pierno, Ballymacwild, Beach Avenue from the clouds. What a finish to the big one.
And Stone Park Leo in the stripes leads by a length from Agent Stanley. In third is the Machine Trap 2. Off the final bend, Stone Park Leo is leading them home towards the line and wins the Kirby.
Final turns they go, it's still too amazing. Alice, She's got them all off the bridle in behind. They're rallying gamely, but it's too amazing. Alice is the champion.
Third bend, it's 1, 2 and 5. The spin is 15.91. Explosive Boy is there to be caught. Trap 2 is going to finish very strongly, but Explosive Boy is holding on. 2 is finishing strongly, but 1 holds on to win.
Susie Sapphire remains clear. Now 4 Scooby Princess is flying. It's Susie Sapphire with 2 Billy Diva and Scooby Princess. But Susie Sapphire will win the sporting press. Priceless Jet, he's not stopping as quickly tonight. He's still on by 6-7 lengths. It's Priceless Jet gonna race home to Corncucullin's success.
But Good Cody is in front by a couple of lengths from 6 Alice Supremo. Surely no catching this 2-dog Good Cody. The chase on for the minor positions. Good Cody is our 2021 champion.
It's the ladies first and second. They're going to win the derby. It's Susie Sapphire from Sing Along Sally. 5 Jack's Little Thing back in third. But it's all about Susie Sapphire. Sing Along Sally is closing the gap fast. But it's Susie Sapphire has won the derby unbeaten. Gloss so powerful, leads by 3.5 to the third bend. 4 Serena's trying his best in second, but Droopy's Gloss on her way to SIS Juvenile Derby Glory, a brilliant winner.
The one to catch is one time only. The semi-final winner leads by 4, and he's left everything in his wake. Skywalker Barry is second. You can forget about the rest. It's one time only for Tommy O'Donovan. He wins it in brilliant fashion. But there goes Ballymacmurlin. He's found a gap on the inside of the third bend, and he's taken over Ballymacmurlin from Dearjet Sydney. Priceless Jet's back in third. Ballymacmurlin, Dearjet Sydney coming back for more on the far side, but Ballymacmurlin has given Liam Downing his second leg.